All righty there, folks. Little Jackson Brown, Doctor My Eyes. You know it. You know it. Boy, that brings back some memories. So, hello, everybody. It's Friday, and favor unto us all and be of service to others. And happy birthday and happy anniversary if you got one. So, I tell you what, that song, baby, tell you what, brings back some memories that, wow, just very, very pleasant. That's all I can say. So anyway, I think everything is in tune and welcome. Glad to see everyone in here. Welcome. Love your energy. It's so groovy and love it, love it, love it. So anyway, what's happening? Weeks are going by quicker. Tell you what, before you know it, it's going to be 2022. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? How is everybody? Who's in the house? David Castle, greetings and favor. Susie Q, much love to you, dear. Gaia and Paul, hello. Big hugs to you. Lynn, good to see you. Big Al and Perry, hello. How are y'all doing? Gorf, good to see you. And Danielle, good to see you. Robert V is in the house. Delta Hook Set, how you doing? Let's see. Maddie, good to see you. Elderberry and Ginger, hello. And Julie, Lost in Space. How you doing, my friend? Much love to you and yours. Nina, how are you doing? The Nina the Mystic. Michelle, it's good to see you. Right, good to see you. Marissa, hello. Just a lot of people piling in here. Truth Seeker, 09 Klaatu, good to see you. Why, that actually rhymes, don't you know? All the time. We're on time because we always find those dimes. And if you can make it rhyme, then you know you're on time. And what else can we say? It means that you are spiritually inside. You're pretty well balanced and tuned. Yeah. Practicing that magic, huh? Well, that's what music is. It's magic. I mean, you think about it. When Jackson Brown came out with that song, what a time in my life. I was 17 going on 18 and wow. First true love of my life, Nancy Carmichael. Seriously. I mean, I've loved women all my life. Started when I was in kindergarten. Just who I came into the world. I love women. I think that the female body and its engineering is, there truly tells me there is a God. So, but anyway, when you really truly fall in love, that first real love, y'all know what I'm talking about. So anyway, what was that, Danielle? What is that? I would have loved to sport a shirt with a real flag. Yeah, this is the real flag. Oh, I know what they've put out there, but the Mandela effect is having so much effect that and the thing about it is, I would have never believed in it at all. But this is why I know that we're shifting timelines, because the older you get, you know certain things, certain events, you just know. And when you see it today, you're going, no, that wasn't the way it was. It's like I said in the show last night, I am living in a freaking B-rated horror movie. I mean, I don't know how many of you turned in. Those were a lot, but this is the invasion of the body snatchers. It's getting weird, really weird. Someone sent this to me, and I know I showed this again, but the whole thing with coming into Project Omega, you're going, I wonder if that's actually going to happen. It may already be happening. It's very strange out there. So let's see. We should be in Zeta by now, but we're still just in Delta. So I don't know. Maybe something is interrupting. Thank you, Gaia. Yeah. Boy, I got some emails. Woo! So I want to show y'all. There's sometimes when you find out things about the work you're doing, and when you come across, other websites that, you know, I think it's an honor to have my work, you know, duplicated and shown out there. I don't charge anything for it, and it's free for everybody. And it's just the way it is. But so I was alerted to this, and I thought this is really cool. There's about right now, I think I have a program that actually tracks it. I think there's 31 different websites that have either the YouTube videos or the Steiger Perspective. This one, I have to say, I'm really honored to be amongst the group that this website's called astrodestinyreader.com. You can see up at the top. And if you go about the About page, it tells you that it's no secret when one makes a choice, one is inspired to believe in an outcome. People are inspired to make choices in different ways, so it appears natural that one may have beliefs that differ from another. Are you freaking kidding me? A different belief? What do you think this is, America? Anyway, the person in the website here says, I believe because I have experienced the truth within, and it is within this truth that I believe. As my life moves forward, my beliefs expand and change by way of experience anew. Spot on. In fact, I have to toast you on that one. Eloquently said. It's my hope that through the ways of my working, I can help you find your truth, your way, and your right, and your light. That's what it's about. Don't believe anything I believe. Experience it yourself. You know, my point of view isn't threatened by your beliefs. Remembering there is no one more important than you. We're going to finish up on the forbidden religion. Boy, did I get some emails on that. As if it were not you, I would not have been inspired to walk where one might have feared to tread. And I have gotten over the years more than one email that says, what the blank are you doing, man? You're going places where not even the angels go. Actually, they help lead you. So look at here. He has a number of reference books. I'm assuming he, she, they. You know how those pronouns are. And this is interesting. You can learn more from these light worker professionals of the meta universe by clicking on the names below. And there are some, look at there. There's Santos's name. Wow. I mean, Kelly White, Both Sides Now TV, Don Caro, Sharon Jeffers, James Schultz, and look at there, our Wayne Steiger, the Steiger Perspective. I mean, folks, this is pretty good. Jack Hayford, I know Jack Hayford, know him personally. Back in the day, yeah, I won't get into it, but I know Jack personally. His son, there's David, Karen Kingston. I mean, folks, there is some heavy hitters here, and Bill Donahue. So it's an honor to be in this type of company, and it's humbling, but I just thought I'd share it with you. You should check out this website. I mean, what more can I do for them? They are fantastic. I will put this into the link when I repost this. So there you go. What an honor. It really is. It's a cool thing. And hey, yeah, what can you say? Flattery gets you anywhere. No, but it's an honor to be with that group of enlightened spirits. It's an honor. So there you go. Well, thank you, Nina, and Ginger. Thank you. It's yeah, it's an honor. It really is. It just yeah, hit the like button. There you go. Absolutely, Delta. Hit the like button. Thank you, Gaia. It's anyway. I'm just reading some of that. So well, thank you, Robin. Yeah, it is the sunny side of life. You know, but I got to tell you what, I woke up this morning. Holy crap, Batman. I mean, Have you ever woke up? And I was in a deep sleep. I was in this place that I don't know. It was intense. I know that. But then I woke up and had the strongest attack there was a mental attack. And holy crap. I mean, it it's kind of like getting up when I used to run. I'd get up about 4 o'clock in the morning and would be out the door by 4:15. Great time to run, by the way, because you just have time to meditate. And don't do it anymore because of my knees. But anyway, it's like bam. And I literally had to mentally fight this. In fact, when I finally became fully aware back into this realm, it bothered me. Hello, Martin and Heidi. How are y'all? Just so beautiful. Thank you. Love your energy. Part of the family that's on the other across the pond. Going to get over there one day. 13. I love that. But anyway, I actually had, it was kind of this lingering effect. It's like having a hangover, but, one that isn't induced by the spirits. Oh, but wait a minute, maybe it was, but not through the consumption of alchemy, the distilling of natural. Anyway, you know what I mean. So yeah, got over it. And, you're almost kind of pissed. I mean, what a way to wake up. I like waking up that the fact that I have great favor on my life, nothing missing, nothing broken, full restoration is in full manifestation. Again, how did I get this wealthy? Why am I this wealthy? And good morning, angels. How are y'all doing? That's the way I like to wake up. But man, yeah. So yeah, anyway, maybe it's the strange energy. I don't know. Scott said, yeah, I had the same feeling. Isn't it? Yeah, like I said, maybe there was some kind of freaking wave coming through, because afterwards I was almost pissed. It's like, why? I mean, I come to the same conclusions, but when you're challenged, literally you're challenged for your conclusions where you are, like, why do you continue to pursue this path? What do you think you're really going to find on this path? Do you think that any of this is actually real? Those kind of thoughts. And of course, it's, one could say, well, it may have been an outside force. But if you look at kind of the forbidden religion, all of us are fractals. We all have different personalities, which are actually living beings. It's weird, isn't it? Because, does someone like, let's just see, I'll use David Castle. So it's like, someone saying, well, David Castle is just a genuine, good soul. And then you hear, oh yeah, how do you know that? And you go, now, wait a minute. So is that me speaking? I mean, is that like, I don't know. I've said this before. If a schizophrenic is claiming to commit suicide, that's a hostage situation. And I think that's the way it is. Maybe it's us. Maybe it's our inner selves. I thought I had a lot of emails. See, Scott, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. This shit's real, man. It really is. I mean, it's as real as it can get. But a lot of people were responding to this warrior. It's like, well, maybe that, kind of describes me all my life. A rebel, outsider, nonconformist. Those are all signs of spirit warriors. I mean, we're not the sheeple. Just don't work that way. For a lot of us, it's just freaking impossible. But anyway, let's see. Kayla says sometimes getting back into your body is a bit crooked. Yeah, I can do that. Right on. He says, I've been having crazy nightmarish dreams for the past 3 months, right before I get up. Well, it's definitely talking to you, dear. I'm telling you, there's something there. Do you write them down? That's the thing. Write them down if you can. Suzanne says, I wrote a song recently with lyrics, "The day the world went mad, calling me mad in the mad." Hey, I live that, man. We all do. I want to hear that song. You get it going. I want to hear it. Let's bring it on. We'll get it going here for sure. Nina says that's her to a T. Yeah, yeah. I think there's a lot of warriors in here. And, it's why I think that, that's the old proverb says iron sharpens iron. This is a group to get into and can grow. I love the growth, Hey, Maximus, what's happening? Hello, Robin. And so life in the same lane. Sure. So I'll finish up on that. I'm just kind of laid back today. Started out with a little bit of the big band, That's what I'm talking about. In the mood. So, and then ended up with Easy Rider. I love it. It's a compilation of the magic of what music is. And that's what music really is. Music is magic. It's magic across the board. Think about it. Uses all the principles of magic, uses all the same elements of magic, and how it can cast a spell on a person very quickly. I was involved in a project. It was a video project. It was with a religious group back in the time. But anyway, the project is that they were looking at specifically the Beatles. And the interesting thing about the Beatles is that it is said that the Beatles brought in a particular frequency or vibration that had not been expressed before ever. And the reason why it affected, and if you go back and you can look at the archive footage, the Shea Stadium concert, the St. Louis concert, it had a particular effect on young women. And you can talk to a lot of the women today, which are grandmothers, that actually experienced that live, and they will tell you something came over them that they have never felt before. And what Ed Sullivan didn't even realize is that when it was broadcast on the Ed Sullivan show, it changed the world. Tell me why you lied. And and it was just that thing, and it's magic. It was a spell. I contend that we right now are under a spell, a very dark spell, and we're seeing the effects of this spell. And that's why over on the Steiger Perspective, I can really tell you what's going on. Someone said, "Are you afraid of being on a list?" I'm always on a list. So, what does it matter? It's like, really? Okay, well, so what? But yeah, humanity is under a spell right now. There are a lot of witches. There are a lot of magicians. We're coming together on this, all the different modalities. We realize that this spell is here. And we got to find out who is the one casting the spell, because it's a spell that's very complicated. It's not easily countered. And it's one that I'm sure many of the councils that are out there are dealing with, the ones that we never even hear about, but they're out there. And we've got to begin to get sharper in our magic. We need to begin to invoke these angels. We need to begin to invoke we've got to counter the curse. And, there's different thoughts on this. Do you counter a curse with a curse? There is, I think, some evidence that would say, yeah, it goes back to physics. I mean, in order to meet a force, you have to be of the same energy of the force. But the problem is, if once inertia has started to build by the force of an opposing power, not only are you going to have to match it, but you're going to have to be able to overcome the inertia and begin to push it back. And the thing about it is what we have to understand, they've taken a lot of ground. And so the very beginning is going to be hard. It's going to require agreements. It's going to require focus, concentration in large groups, small groups, to individuals. Because wherever this spell has originated from, it's been here before. But it's unlike before, because I contend, and presentations like Writer, there's many of them out there. We have all sensed that the internet is more than just the internet. There's something that has literally taken possession of it. Anyway, there you go. That's my commentary for today. Hey there, Jenny, how are you? You need to press that accelerator. Yeah, they have gained much ground. They have. It's the only way, folks. And I cannot stress this enough. We cannot become divided. We can't. The proverb is true. A house divided against itself cannot stand. That goes for marriages, relationships, families, businesses, countries, a species. And we have to stop this division that is trying to be wedged in society today. We have got to be able to find at least something to become unified on. And once that is found, I don't know if it's here yet, but once it is found, and once it begins to gain momentum, and it's beginning to gain momentum, but once the commonality is established with us collectively as a species, we're going to see a change spring up everywhere. So thank you, Scott. Appreciate it, buddy. But that is what we have to do. And we all have to be realist about this. It's going to be ugly in the very beginning. I mean, inertia. The time when I worked in NASCAR, I knew Davey Allison personally, knew Dale Earnhardt personally, Darrell Waltrip, knew them all. And I was there because, I was the press, and what my company did is that we raised corporate sponsorship for the race teams because it cost a lot of money to put those cars out there. Did you correct your status? I don't know what that means. But anyway, one of the things you learn is from the driver's perspective is that when they're, for instance, going nearly 200 miles an hour, and you've built up this much inertia with a car that weighs less than a ton, less than 2,000 pounds. But anyway, when you hit, boom, a solid wall, the driver will tell you how that inertia, that shock is absorbed and what happens. Now, if you have two cars that have a hitting, now you have a combined inertia. And I translate over into magic. What do you want to call it? Magic, prayers? It doesn't matter. It's all the same. And once we get unified, we're going to kick some ass. Sky Harry says, was that a good thing, the Beatles? I don't know. I'm not sure. I think I love the music, still do. Yesterday is one of the most unique songs because it's in 5/4 time. Very interesting. Who was John Lennon? Who is or was Paul McCartney? I mean, yeah. It's just one of those perspectives, I guess. But it's a good question. Hey, Cass, how you doing, my love? Good to see you. Brandy, hello. So good to see you, dear. Got to get you on here. I mean, come on, folks. We've covered some interesting topics here. We're about to get in, finishing up on the other, because I haven't even gotten into what I was going to do here today. But anyway, Charles says NASCAR weighs over 3,000 pounds. Well, you know it, Charles, if you've got to be so nicky picky, I mean, come on. I mean, geez. Does it really matter? I mean, the point was that it was the inertia, but I can get it. It's just people sometimes. That's all I got to say. And early beauty, yes, John, you're right. 4, 3, 2, absolutely. You know, folks, it's how you project. That's all it is. That's all I can say. Let's go. Scotty, that's why you buy the ticket, to see the wrecks. It's not to see go around in a circle. I mean, Bristol is the best place at all. However, I remember Jeff Bodine when the pickups first came out, and his little tumble there at Daytona. Boy, I was actually there, and holy crap. I think he still holds the record on the most, flips. And Rusty Wallace did a pretty good job, though, at Talladega. And if there's a wreck at Talladega, it's usually going to be what they call the big one. Okay, see. I just love this. I love it. So let's get right back in. People wanted to finish out the thing on the forbidden religion. I think that's cool. I mean, tells me that we got people that are hungry for knowledge. So as you know, what this part, the ending chapter of this book is dealing with, is that you're going to have to face this demiurge, this Yahweh. I mean, whoever it is, I don't know. I don't think it really gives us its real names, but I have a feeling many of us have not only faced it, but conquered it more than once. So it talks about, as we get past that, we get into a choice. Do you want to go back to the unknowable God, back into where we originally come from? And sometimes, it's not bad to go back to the island. It's kind of cool. Or if you want to get back and still play in the game, be like a Tom Brady. We're going to go forever. The triumphant spirit has seized from the demiurge part of its creation, a body and a soul. So this is why you really see the valuable aspect of learning while we're here in the physical. If we can begin to master this now, woo, baby, when you get on the other side, oh man, and has transformed them into divine matter over which the demiurge has no control. The created has been transmuted into an uncreated by the power of the spirit. The demiurge created the body and soul of man to be used as a prison cell for the spirit, and the liberated spirit now ends up using them as tools to oppose the demiurge's works and plans. The time for the spirit's revenge has arrived. Folks, think about it. Any way you want to look at this, if you've had 2,000 years to say that yours is the only way and the only right way, and every time that right way gets supposedly implemented, it leads to death and destruction. Come on. Listen, what really gets me is that if you got a religion where they have to do a human sacrifice, man, get your head. You have ocular rectum audis. We have said that the spirit has become only one divine entity with his body and soul. Now it will always be a spirit soul body for all eternity. This entity will have the same physical features as did the warrior at the time of his or her transformation. Young, old, blonde, dark, the same physical features that he had at the time of his transmutation into the divine matter of indestructible Vajra. In this process of liberation and the triumph of the spirit, it is said that the body and soul have died and have been subsequently resurrected. Interesting. The soul have died and been subsequently resurrected. The spirit has saved them and has integrated them into itself. The spirit, now covered by the body soul of the Vajra, has become different to the other spirits. I told you the time that they were going, I was 16 and, where the group was going to, and the guy in the front, I still remember, I relive it all the time, but there is a mark right here. At least there is on me, because he saw it and then the others saw it. And they said simply, we can't touch him. Now, that's real to me, may not be real to you, doesn't matter. But I can tell you from my experience, it will never again be the same as it was before its imprisonment by the demiurge. A free spirit of the unknowable plane. It has decided to stay in the dramatic hell and be invested with indestructible Vajra for all eternity. From now on, the Vajra will always be the distinguishing mark and characteristic feature of the spirit, the perfect proof of its triumph over the satanic demiurge. And folks, Satan lives within you. That's what Satan is. That's what it means, accuser. And boy, you have to be honest. We're really good at being our own Satan. I mean, there's some people that got freaking PhDs in that, but it's true. And the distinctive sign of its transformation into savior of mankind and the world. I mean, isn't that what the Christ, the whole message really was? It wasn't about some worship of some God that has to murder that which it creates. No, it was about liberation from the inside. It says you're not going to enter into the kingdom of heaven if you can only do it by that as a child and as a spirit. Anyway, won't get into that. The body and the soul, deified and incorporated by the spirit, will be the trophy which the spirit will flaunt eternally as a souvenir of its triumphant passage through the perverse world of created matter. Oh man, I dig that. The body and soul. It talks about in certain passages, not only of the Bible, but it's in the Vedic as well. But it talks about all of us would we receive crowns, right? And that you will have a new body and you will have a new name, a name that only one knows. Just saying. I mean, if we were in an interpretive religion class right now, you'd have to agree and you'd have to say, yeah, I can give you scripture and verse for that in a number of other sacred writings. So there seems to be at least a unified, I say at least field here, right? The body and soul, deified and incorporated by the spirit, will be the trophy which the spirit will flaunt eternally as a souvenir of its triumphant passage through the perverse world of created matter. And what I hear inside when I read this, I see this evidenced in so many areas, so many different beliefs, modalities, theologies. I can see this thread through it all. There is an ancient Gnostic text in which Genesis is narrated from the point of view of the serpent Lucifer. We've read that. Might be good for us to go back and reread it again, which disappeared 1,600 years ago and was miraculously recovered in the 20th century in the Nag Hammadi in Egypt. In this text called the Testimony of Truth, we've covered this, but we're going to cover it again. There is mention of the influence of the liberated spirit on the kingdom of the demiurge. In some of the Nag Hammadi text, we are told about the resurrection of the body after death. Only a liberated and victorious spirit can provide true resurrection and salvation. In the Christian myth, there are clear references to the work of the Spirit, proof of the Gnostic origin of this religion. When we are told that they went to look for the body of Christ in the tomb and did not find it, they were clearly saying that his body was of the Vajra and that it had left with the Spirit. In other words, it was about a true savior of man and of the world. This is the best proof. If we want to know if a guide for mankind is the authentic messenger or savior, the best thing we can do is go back and look for the body in the tomb. If we cannot find it, it is because the body of the Vajra has left with the Spirit in perfect union. Furthermore, it has never been stated in Christianity that Christ was merged with God or united with God. On the contrary, it was always maintained that Christ is with his body, seated at the right hand of God. When they say, with his body, we can add of Vajra. These references are clear. Christ is a separate entity, and the God to which they are referring cannot be the creator God. It is the demiurge. Lots of debate that you can put on this one. And what is Christ united then or sitting by next to this demiurge? It's one of the problems why, people leave the religion, because you stop and you start thinking, all right, so this Christ gave great speeches, great advice, but who it says that it's aligned with is the very thing that's been killing us. How does that work? And why would this demiurge require human sacrifice? I mean, folks, any God that requires human sacrifice is no God. Anyway, I digress. If the liberated and triumphant spirit enters the unknowable plane, it will always do so with its new body of red Vajra, which from the spirit will not be able to separate itself from the whole of eternity. A man reborn in this way is born twice, without death, immortality, and eternal. Such a man who has liberated himself from the demiurge and his chain of reincarnations, who has definitively broken away from everything created and impure, will always cause an immense upheaval in the created universe. When a spirit liberates itself, all creation is liberated a little. When a spirit manages to liberate itself and defeat the demiurge in a face-to-face confrontation, the latter loses power, and the ties that imprison the other spirits become weaker as well. I guess you could deduct from that, saying that maybe the net is finding breaks. When a spirit has decided to stay in the hell of the demiurge, it will fight tirelessly until all the spirits have been liberated, and will continue to fight until the demiurge weakens, ends his perverse breaths of the Mon Von Tross and Paralysis, until he can no longer create anything and ends up disappearing. In this way, all duality will have disappeared, and the world will go back to being only one, the eternal kingdom of the true and unknowable God. Well, there you go. Take it for what it's worth, but it's really interesting. And this one right here ends his perverse breaths of the man von Taras, the breath of life, I guess. Remember, the 6-day people did not have the breath of this demiurge blown into them. It was only the one Adamite. Wow. And I still question, well, where did these 6-day people go? Did a whole video on that. It's very interesting. So for what it's worth, folks, hey, it's interesting. Get the 3 thumbs down. Now that tells me that someone just, they got, oh man, what is this dude talking about? Yeah, I know. It's terrible that, we go from a slave mentality of master, to warrior, triumphant spirit that kicks the ass of Yahweh. I don't like Yahweh. I got to tell you, don't like anything about that God. It's a murderous imposter. And how should I say, the fire of my displeasure burns white hot. And we may be the 6-day people. That's, Nina, that there's a lot of truth to that. But yeah, I mean, I don't dig the Islamic God. Don't dig that one at all. There is no Christian God. As I challenge Christians all the time, show me in your Bible where it names a Christian God. It doesn't. And wouldn't Jesus had known that they were going to call his religion Christianity? And would he have not had said, don't do that? I digress. Folks, you've got to see. Now, I have no doubt that there was not a philosopher. You could say, I don't know, maybe a person not of this earth. If you follow the story, even the dude is a hybrid. Excuse me, it's he's not human. Part human. So that would mean he would probably be more in tune to, let's say, oh, I don't know, the Hellenistic beliefs. And plus that the story goes back nearly 2,700 years before when it supposedly started, which leads me right into our nice little segue about the oddities of history. So here we go. We start with 4 BC, the birth of Jesus of Nazareth, and there was no Jesus. There was no J. Never was. And here's the thing. If it's truly a deity, you have this standing rule. You don't change the names of gods. And if, in fact, this person really would, it would have been translated the same way as they translated the Arabic Hebrew language. Anyway, accompanied by various illuminoid trappings, 3 early men in black disguised as wise men, strange lights in the skies, miracles such as visit from angels, prophecy, and suspension of time are reported. And trust me, he was not a white dude. If he lived, he was dark-skinned. Boy, people don't like that. I often ask people, so what color of skin is your God? All right, year 0. The Carnation Painted Eyebrow Society, Copper Horses, Iron Shins, and other secret societies active in China. So why didn't this Jesus cat go to China? Anyway, 30, assassination of the radical Jesus. Wait a minute. Then who is the cat born up here in Nazareth? Allegedly on Illuminati orders, more illuminoid trappings, an eclipse, an earthquake, visitors from the sky, roll away the stone from the sepulcher, and liberated the crucified Jesus. First century, Flavius Josephus, the biggest fraud that ever was, the noted Jewish historian, that, by the way, he was the only one who called himself an historian, of the 1st century AD, described giants as having bodies so large and countenances so entirely different from other men that they were surprising to the sight and terrible to the hearing. And he adds that in his day, the bones of the giants were still on display. Now, surely you know who, all of you should know who Flavius Josephus is. If you don't, what is the problem? Because if you'd understand what I'm saying, you would know that we have what they call here a double negative, an opposing truth to a said statement. You see, Josephus was captured by, does anyone know? Vespasian. On the battlefield. Vespasian was Jesus. What you're reading in the New Testament were the acts of Vespasian, but I don't want to get into actual history. And what was the name? Come on, of Vespasian. Flavius Vespasian. Yeah. Goes with his sons as well. And so Josephus made a prophecy or prediction to Vespasian, and Vespasian was going to cut his head off. That's what they did to renegades. Josephus was a renegade general. Cost the Roman army a lot of soldiers. But anyway, long story short, his prediction, his prophecy did come true. And so Vespasian takes him back to Rome, and Josephus actually lives in Vespasian's villa for the rest of his life. Just there you go. Let's see. We continue. A caravan adjacent to the ruins of the Temple of Apollo and the Pumacalae, formerly the Hierapolis, built when the ancient Grecian Empire held sway over the area. Several strange disappearances have surrounded the caravan as far back as the ancient Grecian times. The Greek philosopher Strabo in circa 63 BC to 24 AD recorded that many animals who entered the caverns never emerged, and also many people who went past the mouth of the cave never returned. Only sorcerers in ancient times who had apparently made an alliance with the gods of the underworld would be able to enter and would emerge glowing with a reddish hue. Now, little history here. They've actually found this cave. What they have found is interesting, is that there is a poisonous gas that does come out of it. But yeah, they also found apparently the cave of the Delphi. Boom. The Key of Solomon, a book of incantations for invoking demons, right over here on my desk, attributed to the authorship of Solomon, was in existence, influenced the Golden Dawn movement, and was one of the sources of modern ritualized magic. Some people believe these were written by King Solomon himself, whereas others believe they were written by demons and given to the king. Solomon has been widely acclaimed as a great wizard in his time, and he was a master of the art of commanding demons. Some experts pretend that the many versions all derive from the original written by Rabbi, I believe that is Aboganazar, Zara. I think that's close. There's the Fosciatum. Have that, the Key of Solomon. It's really weird to read some of these invocations, the way you command these high-ranking demons. If they ever manifest the way the book says they do, holy crap. Can only imagine how we would write that. All right, so the great first century pagan philosopher and physician Apollonius of Tyana was said to have transported himself instantaneously to Ephesus to treat sufferers from the plague. And you know what's interesting about that is that if you go to the book of Acts, when Philip was walking on the road and he was heading to someplace, he came upon an Ethiopian eunuch who was, in fact, reading the book of Isaiah. So the story goes. And according to this story goes, he got saved, yada, yada, yada. But then it says that immediately Philip was in that town. In fact, in my writings, because there was so much in the New Testament that was sci-fi, we read the same thing that happened with the Christ. Many times him disappearing, many times being teleported. Yeah, interesting. All has some foundation of truth, no doubt. According to Masonic tradition, Oramus started an order in Alexandria having the rose cross as a symbol. And we all know that Alexandria played a huge role in philosophy, religion, the occult, paganism, Gnosticism. I would have loved to have gone back there in the day. I may have probably been there, who knows. A ship was seen speeding across the Scottish night sky. The year 64, as disastrous fire sweeps through Rome, the Emperor Nero blames the Christians. Persecution of both Christians and Jews erupts. Tradition has it that Peter was crucified during the Neronic persecutions and buried, eventually under the site of the present altar of St. Peter's Church. I don't know, but that's what Nero actually looked like. The year 70, May 21st, from Flavius Josephus' Jewish book, The Jewish War book, I think that is what, 31? 30, anyway. On the 21st of May, a demonic phantom of incredible size before the sunset that appeared in the air over the whole country, chariots and armed troops coursing through the clouds and surrounding the cities. That's pretty weird. A demonic phantom of incredible size with chariots coming with troops. Maybe there was this UFO invasion. When a comet appeared in the year 79, astrologers wonder if it would mean the death of Emperor Vespasian. Vespasian, alluding to the term long-haired star used for comets, joked that the comet must have been meant for the Parthian king who wore his long hair, not for himself. Vespasian was bald. Despite his clever pun, Vespasian died within the year. And there he be. There's so much I could talk about this guy. Anyway. Let's see. And like I said, we've got hundreds of pages of so many of these things that just you go, wait a minute. That's not how history recorded that. Let's see. 3rd century, the way was long, as if enveloped in darkness, explains Chu Yan, a Chinese poet of the 3rd century BC. Chinese tradition narrates the extraordinary adventures of Hu Hai, an engineer of the Emperor Yo, who decided 4,300 years ago to go to the moon with a celestial bird. In the course of the flight, the bird indicated to the traveler the exact movements of the rising, the apogee, and the setting of the sun. Hu Hai thereafter explained that he sailed up to the current of luminous air. Could this current have been the exhaust of a rocket? He no longer perceived the rotary movement of the sun. The narrator points out, effectively, contemporary astronauts have noted that in space, it was not possible to discern the diurnal passage of the sun. And what did the Chinese engineer observe on the moon? He saw an horizon which appeared frozen. To protect himself from the glacial air, he built the palace of the great cold. His wife, Cheng Gu, left and joined him on the satellite, which she described as a luminous sphere, brilliant as glass, and an enormous size and very cold. Maybe we weren't the first. I don't know. Let's see. The Sefer Yetzirah came out in the year 200. Let's see. So much interesting thing. The year 325, the Council of Nicaea, in which Christianity begins to rigify. I love that. The book of Enoch, having been suppressed by the church, was declared apocryphal by Saint Jerome. Now, if you know anything about Jerome, that prick, he's the one who actually put in the word Lucifer in the book of Isaiah. Made it up. Said, well, I don't think I like what it's saying here. He did several other things. Eubysus, bishop of Caesarea, sets out to list of the New Testament books still in use today. He also lists books of which he considers doubtful, such as the Acts of Paul, the Revelation of Peter, Gospels of Peter, Thomas, Matthias, and many other ancient books. Constantine orders Eusebius to have 50 Bibles made of vellum. The amount of vellum required would have taken the skins of about 4,500 animals. Some of these Bibles still exist today in the St. Catherine's Monastery in the Sinai and London in the British Museum. I'd love to see that. Anyway, this is a fun book. We'll come back to it from time to time because there's just some strange stuff going on that impacted history. And I think in many times, maybe they've been jacking with us all along. I don't know. Oh, this has been fun. They were using technology and aliens took it away. Yep. I think we came under some magical spell, to be honest. I mean, why wouldn't aliens use, if technology is to perceived in the human perception in its early stages as magic, what makes us think that aliens wouldn't use magic? Off-worlders. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. It's been a fun week. Appreciate it, folks. It has been a lot. Is Lucifer real then? No, it is not. Skyheart did a whole thing on it. You got to check out the videos. I show you conclusively that there is no Lucifer. Now, we probably have, as a golem, have mentally now projected it. I've often said that if Lucifer did exist, he'd be the cat I'd sign up with. I mean, how can he be an angel of light and be dark? I've stated this many times. Lucifer never has killed one single human. Lucifer has never commanded a human to worship him. Lucifer has never commanded a sacrifice be made to him. Never. No evidence of it anywhere, in any book, of any religion. Makes you think, doesn't it? Big Al is still working on the cards. They look beautiful, man. I'm telling you, I love it. But anyway, folks, just check it out for yourself. Listen, I went decades believing in Satan, Lucifer, the devil. And then one day I said, oh, now wait a minute. So is the devil Lucifer or is the devil Satan? Now, wait a minute. Is Satan Lucifer or is Lucifer the devil? Or is Lucifer Satan? I mean, come on. However, I do believe that there is a cat that actually does have an underworld. I really do. I think it's Moo. Badass. Goes back way, way, way back. But I really do. I think that there is such a place. Okay. Man was put in flesh, just described of Satan. So folks, tune in tonight over at the Andromeda 7 Celestial Portal. They're going to have a pretty good show. Looks like about hauntings, ghosts, what have you. I think it's going to be pretty interesting about the spirits. Tomorrow night with Robert V over there in Milky Way Soul Tribe, and then Saturday night with Miss Trina. So if I've missed you and you do have a show, let me know. It's been fun. Look at that. 111 thumbs up. Thank you very much. Those, you see, those are numbers that are saying, "Hey, Steiger, we love you, dude." The number, you know, and I'm sure all you have to do is, I don't know. Anyway, all right. So have yourself a great holiday. I will not probably be on Monday, so I'll see you then most likely on Tuesday with Miss Trina. In the interim, keep yourself sane. Love yourself, love others. Remember, united we stand, divided we fall. And we can overcome that. We can love one another, may not be the same in every way, but at least we can unite. We're all people. I think we are. Gaia, much love to you. I'm going to be sending you and Paul an email. Don't have what I had to do last weekend. So, Lost in Space, much love to you, brother. Appreciate you, all of y'all, so much. Thank you. And you've made my life a lot more richer. I am truly a wealthier man because of all of you. So thank you. I'll see you